that like it's some, whatever else. One thing that they do is they aggregate it is one thing they try to do, and so they'll say, well, I'm not necessarily going to monitor every individual driver. I'm going to look at behavior across multiple drivers, let's say, to say that I'm not pinpointing you. I'm looking at more generally, how do I improve my performance, is one way that they do it. Two is that they just kind of, it's bad to say, I guess, right? But they just say, I'm going to do it, right? I guess basically, right? I'm going to have this sort of system in place so I can monitor it, and there is some precedent for it. Now, you may have heard about the ELD mandate, electronic logging devices. Yes, that's sort of. I think it's helping in terms of saying, hey, listen, you already have ELD now, right? So if I want to put some extra functionality on that box, mine as well, right? It's sort of, drivers hate ELD already, and so now the box is there, I guess, right? It's almost like the ELD mandate,
open the door,
help tip things over, open the door, I guess, right? And now it's sort of easier to add things. But drivers really hate it, for sure. Somewhat understandably, I guess. I think drivers are fairly also traditional people, I guess I would say, and so there's also a fear that they're watching other things about them, whatever else. There's certainly a worry about that, but I've not seen that be a problem at all. Like if a fleet wants to do it, they'll pretty much do it, I guess, right? I don't see drivers, you kind of think about like a driver won't quit because of it. They may not like it. And it's not like a new driver who's trucking will say, well, I was about to become a trucker, but now that you're going to do telematics solution and track me, I won't do it. It's really just not like that, I guess, right? You're not dealing with sort of a marketplace where people will exit and say, I'm going to stop driving or drive worse because of this. They don't like it, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
Yeah. Well, and so one thing I have heard about is appealing to the driver's sense of professional,ism. I'll phrase it that way, so that they get scored compared to other drivers for being the most steady on the road, or the most fuel efficient, or the most route efficient, those sorts of things. And there can be in some areas, some rewards for that, and in others, it's just a way of saying, yeah, you are, a more professional driver, and you can prove it. Have you heard about that kind of stuff, and what's your reaction?
I have. It depends on the fleet. So it depends on the fleet's the motivation. So a lot of drivers, right, it depends on the way the fleet is structured, are paid by the mile. Like that's how it works. So I'm paid by the mile. And so if that means I got to accelerate fast and brake fast to keep going faster, then whatever, right? Appeal to my sense of professionalism, but I still need to get paid. I'm paid by the mile, I guess, is one thing. If they have a different metric, they're saying, okay, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm not going to pay, I'm going to have a different model that says I'm going to encourage you to be efficient in your driving, whatever else, even if that causes you to drive slower and drive to your destination, a drive that you might have been able to do in 10 hours takes 11. That's something you have to make the case for, I guess, if you're going to do incentive systems like that. But most every driver I've ever seen or talked to, I said my goal is to get the goods there as quickly as I can. Either one, I get paid that way, or two, my day is route dependent. So if I finish my route at 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m., I don't get another route. I just go home. And and that's really their mentality. And so you'd have to really have a carefully designed incentive system that says, stay 2 hours longer, and I'm going to make it worth your while and drive efficiently, right? And that's just as it is hard for fleets to convince fleets of that, right, of new technology, whatever else. I can't imagine convincing a driver take a longer way to do this route or drive slower, and you'll end up being ahead. I think that's a tough story to sell. Yep.
Okay, last few questions. These systems can gather a lot of data. And increasingly, as cameras are added onto these systems, there's new types of data. It's not just what's my engine temperature and, how many RPMs am I pulling, whatever. It's, what's the street look like around me? People standing on the street, the license plate of the cars in front of me, and that kind of stuff. First question about that is, have you heard any additional level of concern about fleets having access to that kind of data or storing that kind of data?
I haven't heard anything about it. Honestly, it's not something that gets talked about a lot, because I'm not sure people are aware of it, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Into that? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not, the people that would usually